Hello students, Mrs. Pancoke here. Today we're going to work on lesson 4 out of chapter 1, starting on page 19 in your textbook. Page 19 in your textbook. This lesson is about Microsoft Word and ribbon basics. We're going to explore the Word ribbon. We're going to key and edit text in Word. We're going to save a document. We're going to open an existing file and save it with a new name. We're going to preview and print a document in Word, and we're going to use a numbered list and discuss applicable use policies. Alright, so Microsoft Word is a word processing application. You will need to use Word in many of the chapters to come. This lesson will teach you a few basics, just enough to complete your work successfully. In Unit 3, you will learn to use the features of Word in greater detail. A key feature of Word is the ribbon. So as you can see in this picture right here, we have the ribbon. On the ribbon, there are different tabs that you can click on, which will bring up more commands. It says when you open a Word document, the commands are on the Home tab. They are displayed by default. So this Home tab is always displayed by default. To view more commands, you click or tap the tabs at the top of the ribbon. Commands, which are basically all of these, in other words, buttons, are displayed in different groups. So for example, this group right here is the paragraph group. It's labeled at the bottom of the ribbon. We have our font group, paragraph group, styles group, editing group, and the clipboard group. You can display additional commands and options using other features on the ribbon. Okay, this little button right here, you see these little arrows in the corner of certain groups, those will bring up a dialog box. So it's a dialog box launcher. They are at the lower right corner of a group. To display a dialog box that contains additional commands related to that group, you can always click the More button right here. Sometimes there'll be like a scrolling list of more options if you click the More arrow, such as in the Styles gallery to display the entire set of styles. And you can click a down arrow on a command button to see additional commands. So sometimes you'll see these little arrows, and if you click on these tiny little arrows, it brings up more options. Alright, so now we're going to start some steps. It says make sure you have turned on your computer, you've started Windows, and down here in the Cortana, Ask Me Anything, I'm going to type in Word to open up my Word 2016. Alright, once we get to here, step 2 says click blank document to open a new document if it's not already selected. Okay, make sure we click on the Home tab. Next it says click the Insert tab right here. Follow along with me, make sure you're doing this. If you need to pause the video at any time, don't be afraid to hit pause. Space bar on your keyboard will pause your video for you. Click the Insert tab and note the 10 groups in which the commands are organized. We have pages, tables, illustrations, add-ins, media, links, comments, header and footer, text, and symbols are all of the different groups that this tab on the ribbon is organized into. Display the hundreds of commands available by clicking each of the remaining tabs. So go ahead and click on the Design tab, take a look. Click on the Layout tab, take a look. Click on References tab, look around at the commands, click on Mailings, click on the Review tab, and then click on the View tab. Alright. Okay, and then it says you can also click the File tab. And it says that unlike the other tabs, File tab shows its command in a vertical menu over here. File is also sometimes referred to as backstage view when you click the File tab. If you want to return to your document, you click this Return to Document arrow. And then we're going to find the following commands or features in each group. If you are not sure what some commands do, hover your pointer over them for a brief description. Alright, so we're going to go to the Home tab. And we are going to, in the clipboard group, we are going to find the cut and copy command. You'll see cut and copy right here. They might be grayed out right now. They are light gray, indicating that they are not currently active. It's because we don't have any text to cut or copy is why you can't click on them. But if you hover your mouse over it, it'll give you a brief description of what that command does. So like paste, add content to the clipboard, on the clipboard to your document. So when I cut something, I can then paste it. Alright, in the font group, it tells us to find the font color button. That would be right here. And click the small downward pointing arrow on the button to display the font color palette. Click anywhere on the screen to close the palette. So if you want to close out of this, I just click off of it. Paragraph. In the paragraph group, click the paragraph group's dialog box launcher to open the paragraph dialog box. So this is the dialog box launcher. I'm going to click on that to open up another box that has more commands on it. Take a look at this box and then we're going to click cancel to close out of it. In the styles group right here, we're going to click on the more button in the lower right corner to see all the styles in the gallery. Okay. And then we're going to, in the editing group, locate find and replace commands. So we have find right here. Okay, and we also have replace. So if I click replace, it opens up a dialog box again. It says click the down arrow on the find button to see additional commands. Alright, and then it says close word by clicking the close button. We're going to click close right here. It says do not save. Alright, turning my page to page 21 in my textbook. We're on to section 4B. Okay. To key text, tap each key on the keyboard or other input device that you are using. If you press a wrong key, you can use the backspace key to delete your mistakes. As you key text, remember to always tap the space bar once between words. Tap the space bar once after a comma, and tap the space bar twice after a period, a question mark, an exclamation mark, or a colon. Always hold down the shift key to create a capital letter, and tap enter only at the end of a paragraph. We never want to tap enter at the end of a line. The computer automatically wraps words to the next line. The only time you press the enter key is at the end of a paragraph. Alright, we're going to start Word again. So go ahead and reopen up Microsoft Word. And we're going to open a blank document. Okay, you need to be following along with these steps. So if you need to pause at any time, feel free to pause your video and do exactly as I do. Alright, so it says to key the following text in the document. Alright, so I'm going to type space exploration. Now, I type sort of fast and sometimes, oops, I make mistakes. That's okay. You can always go back and fix it after the fact. In the book, it'll say press enter. That means you just press the enter key once at the end of the line. Next, I'm going to type my name. So if I'm typing faster than you, feel free to pause the video or let it go and then pause it so that you have time to catch up. So I'm going to type my name and then I'm pressing enter and then I'm going to key this following paragraph. The Russians were the first to send someone into space, period. Double space after a line. Now you can see that I have these formatting marks. That's because I have turned on my show hide button. If I want to take those off, I just unclick the show hide button. But as you can see, these little dots indicate where spaces are, so I can see how many spaces I pressed after my period. I prefer to leave this on. If I were to print this document, it wouldn't print these little symbols. These are just for formatting and to make sure that you're properly formatting your document as you type. All right, the Russians called their astronauts by the name cosmonauts, period, space, space. The first cosmonaut left Earth on April 12th, 1961, period. Okay, so once you have that typed, we're going to move on to step 3. It says move the mouse pointer so it is positioned to the left of the first word in your document, right before space exploration. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to click so my insertion point, the flashing line, is right before space. And then we are going to step 4, key the first change, the text marked in green as shown. So we're going to type the history of space exploration. Next it says position the insertion point at the end of your name. I'm going to click right after my name and I'm going to tap enter. And we will type the Russians. Press enter. Okay. And then it says, let's see. Actually, I'm going to hit the backspace key. I'm going to type this right before the first line, so I'm going to type the Russians and the Americans, or American, there's no S, sorry. The Russian and American space program were in competition, period, space, space. Okay, and then I need to find where it says the first cosmonaut and click right after the word cosmonaut, so my insertion point is right there. I'm going to type comma, Yuri Gagarin, comma. Okay. At the end of the line, I'm going to click right after the last period and I'm going to press enter. And we're going to type the Americans. Press enter. And we're going to type this paragraph below it. The Americans were eager to catch up, period. Space, space. The United States sent their first astronaut, comma, Alan Shepard, comma, into space on May 5th, 1961, period. Okay, I forgot the S in astronaut. There we go. Okay, so your document should look like this right now. It should say the Russians and American space program were in competition. The Russians were the first to send someone into space. The Russian called their astronauts by the name cosmonauts. The first cosmonaut was Yuri Gagarin, left Earth on April 12, 1961. The Americans were eager to catch up. The United States sent their first astronaut, Alan Shepard, into space on May 5th, 1961. Okay, we're turning our book to page 22. And now we're going to talk about saving a document. 4C. So as soon as you create a new file, you should save it. The file has been saved. The file that has been saved can be opened again so you can edit the text. Use the Save As command on the File tab to begin the process of saving a file. You will then have to navigate to the location on your computer or other storage area where you want to store your file. So we're going to click the File tab and we're going to click Save As. Okay, so going back to my document right here, we're going to go File and we're going to click Save As, step 1. Okay, and at this point, I usually like to click on this PC, double click on that, and I want to make sure that I'm saving in my Z drive. So under this PC, if I click this arrow next to it, I can then go to the one that says your name. So mine says Leah.McClure. Yours might say your first name dot last name. And then typically I call it the Z drive because there is a Z right here. That's the server that this is getting saved to. So click on the one that says your name, your Z drive. And we're going to name this document just in our Z drive for now as 4C space history. So give it a file name of 4C space history. I want to make sure it's in my Z drive. It might say up here on your pathway, this PC, and then your name. That's how you know you're saving it in the right place. You can press enter or hit the save button. Okay. And then it says to close the document and exit Word. So you can either go close right here, or you can just click the X up here in the corner. Okay, as you can see in this picture, just like I showed you, you have your navigation up here. It tells you what folder you might be saving in. You type your file name in the file name box, and then when you're ready to save, you click the save icon. Okay, we're moving on to 4D on page 23. Okay, it says we're going to open an existing document. So throughout this book, you will need to open data files and save them with new names. A data file contains information that you will use to complete an activity. With a data file, part of the work has already been done for you. Data files start with DF, which is short for data file. Okay. Then lists the activity number followed by a descriptive name. For example, DF4D, Microsoft and Google. When you save a file you have completed, you will be given the file name to use. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, which is not in the directions on the book, is that we need to find our data files. So, to do this, I'm going to close out of this. You are going to find, I'm going to close out of that. You're going to find this icon down at the bottom of your screen that looks like a folder. This is your File Explorer. Everyone needs to click on File Explorer. Okay, once this opens, okay, you need to navigate to where it says this PC, and I want you to click on the public drive. Okay, once you clicked on Public Drive, you're then going to find the folder that says Pancoke. Then we're going to click on Keyboarding 8, and you're going to see a folder that is labeled Data Files. Okay, there are lots of different files in here that you are going to use throughout this class. What I want you to do is I want you to right-click with your mouse button on Data Files, and you are going to click Copy. So right-click and click Copy. Okay, then you are going to go to your Z drive. So under this PC, you want to click on your name, and you are going to probably not have nearly as many folders as I have. Okay, but in the blank area, you are going to right click and click Paste. Okay, and as you do this, it will copy 364 items to your Z drive that you are going to need. Once you have this copied, you will not need to go back to the public drive to find these folders. These will now be saved in your own files. So here you see my data files folder that I just copied. It should now be inside my Z drive. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the directions on page 2340. Once you have your data files, you should be good to continue on. Okay, so now it says we're going to open up Word, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and close out of my File Explorer. Okay, we're going to open up Word, and we are going to click on Open Other Documents. You can go to this PC. Alright, and then you're going to find that data files folder that we just saved. It probably will be in alphabetical order if you have multiple files already on your computer. So go to data files, and then you're going to find the document that is called DF4D Microsoft and Google. It might show up right here. If it doesn't show up, you can click Browse and do the same thing. You can go to your data files folder and then find 4D Microsoft and Google. We're going to open up this document. So you can double click on it, or you can go one click and then click open. Okay, the document should appear on your screen, similar to my document right now. I want you to take on step 6, it says to read the document. You may need to use the scroll bar to scroll to the bottom. Okay, so you're going to take a moment to read this document. Okay? Pause this video if you need to take your time to read it. Alright, so after you have read the document, step 7 says to drag the insertion point over the words your name, where it says enter your name. So I'm going to highlight this, click and drag with my mouse to highlight where it says enter your name. Okay? And then release the mouse button, and you're going to type your name. So once you have it highlighted, I'm just going to start typing over the top of that. Okay, these are what you call placeholders. So whenever you see something like this, you are going to replace the information with your own information. So it says, when it says enter your class name, highlight it and then type keyboarding 8. Okay, and then where it says enter your instructor's name, you're going to highlight that and you will type Mrs. Pancoke. Okay, so this one right here should be your name, keyboarding 8, Mrs. Pancoke. Okay, so this document tells us about the differences between Microsoft Office and Google Docs. Okay. it says to scroll to the bottom of the document and click the insertion point in the blank space after first similarity. And I want you to type something that is similar between Microsoft Word and Google Docs. Okay. So a similarity is that they both allow you to create letters and reports. Okay, a second similarity is they both allow you to work with numbers, graphs, and charts. I should probably capitalize allow. Okay. And then both allow you to create electronic slide shows. Okay, typo there. Fix that. Okay, and then it tells us that it wants us to answer the two differences. Okay, so a difference between the two is that Google Docs is online and Office is run from your hard drive. Okay. And the second difference, we'll say ran. The second difference is that let's say Google Docs does not have a database application. Okay, so go ahead and type similarities and differences. You can type the same ones that I have, or you can come up with your own similarities and differences. Okay, when we are done typing this, if you need to pause and finish your own, do that and then press play when you're ready to start up again. When you are done, you're going to, you're going to click File, Save As. Okay, so go to File, Save As, and you can go to Browse. Okay, and you're going to find the folder where you're supposed to save your file. So for now, we're just going to make sure that we're saving it in our Z drive. So I'm going to click right here on my name, and it tells us in step 13 on page 24 in your textbook to type the file name of 4D applications and apps. So I'm going to delete that and I'm going to type 4D applications and apps, and we're going to click save. Okay, then it says to close the document and exit Word. Okay, we are on page 24, section 4E, print preview and print a document in Word. So it says sometimes you will need to print a copy of your work. Print by clicking the File tab followed by the print command. Let's open up this here. Okay, so you can get to print from Backstage View by clicking the File button on your Word document screen. Okay, you can also preview your document to check for last-minute errors or formatting issues before you print. So you have a preview area that shows you what it's going to look like when it's printed. And then you have a set of commands to make sure you're on the right printer, you are choosing the right number of copies to print. So it says to start Word if it's not already open. So go ahead and open up Microsoft Word again. Okay. And you are going to choose Open Other Documents. And I'm going to click Browse to find my 4C space history file that we made earlier. And we're going to open this up again. Okay. And step 3 on page 24 tells us to click the File tab on the ribbon. Step 4 says to click Print. The screen to the right of the print command changes as shown in figure 1.27 in your textbook. Make sure that the number of copies is set to 1. If it is not, use the arrow keys to change it. You can also highlight the number in the box and type it if you want. And then choose your printer. So we want it to say East B-Lab Laser. If it doesn't, you can click this down arrow to find the East B-Lab Laser. That's the printer that you want to print to. Okay. And then step 7 says to review the other options in the list. So take a look at all these other options. Okay, so we can choose to print it on both sides. We can change the orientation, change our paper size. I wouldn't recommend typically changing these settings unless there's a specific reason to change them. All right, look at the picture of your document to the right. If you catch any last-minute mistakes, click another tab on the ribbon and make changes to the document. Save the changes, then go back to print. So make sure that your document looks similar to the one in my picture. Make sure your name is on it. All right. Step 9 says to actually click the print button. At this time, we are not going to print, okay, because I don't like to waste a lot of paper. So we're not going to print. Do not click the print button. We're going to instead click the back arrow and then go ahead and close out of the document. Later, you guys will turn these documents in on Schoology. Okay. Go ahead and close out of that document. Okay, step 4F is asking us to create a number list, and it talks about also acceptable use policies. So, when you're using a computer, you need to follow certain rules as well. Chances are your school has rules that you should follow. These rules are called acceptable use policies, or AUPs. In the next exercise, we will key an AUP using a numbered list. Numbered lists can be used to track steps of instruction, lists of items, and more. When you key a list where each item is preceded by a 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, you are creating a numbered list. When creating a numbered list, you're always going to type the number 1 first, followed by a period. Once you tap, then you're going to tap the space bar, where it automatically begins a new numbered list. Tap enter at the end of each item line to go on to the next list. So we're going to be using Word's automatic numbering feature to type this following acceptable use policy. So we need to start Word. Okay. And we're going to open up a blank document. Okay, and we're going to type this acceptable use policy as shown. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type acceptable use policy. Tap enter, type your name, press enter, and 7 rules. Tap enter. Okay, to start our numbered list, we're going to type the number 1, followed by a period, then press the space bar. Okay, and then as I type, we're going to type never share your password. Press enter. Okay, spacebar, never use your computer to lie or offend others. Period. Enter. 3. Do not forward suspicious email or other messages. Period. Enter. 4. Do not steal digital data from others. Enter. 5. Do not download graphics, music, videos, or other data from the internet without permission. Enter. 6. Do not bring food or drink into the lab. Period. Enter. Organize. Shoot, sorry, I forgot to type 7. Organize and clean your workstation area every day. Period. Enter. Okay, if you got an 8 right here at the end, tap the backspace to delete it. You don't need 8. Alright, and then we're going to turn our page to page 26. And we're going to save this file as, you can click this PC or you can click browse. Make sure that you're in your Z drive right here. And we're going to name it 4F Acceptable Use Policy. Save. Okay. Next it says change the color of the first rule to blue. So I'm going to highlight the first rule and I'm going to go to my font colors and we're going to be using these standard colors down here at the bottom. Now if I hold my mouse over the colors, it will tell me what the name of the color is. We're going to choose blue. Okay. It says next click the home okay, let's see, we already did that. Change the color of the other rules in your document using colors from the font color palette. Make each rule a different color. So we're going to highlight 2, change that color, and you can just choose whichever colors you want. Green. A hint, I wouldn't use yellow. Usually yellow is hard to see on documents. Orange is okay. Yellow is sometimes difficult to read. Dark blue. Let's make the last one a brighter green. Okay. Next it says select the title acceptable use policy right here, and we're going to click the bold button. And then it says step 7, select your name and click the italic button. italic button. Then select the heading 7 rules, and we are going to click the underline buttons arrow, and we're going to double underline style for this 7 rules. And then it says to click the save button on the quick access toolbar. So this is a quick way to save your work. This little icon right here is the save button on the quick access toolbar. We're going to click that. And then you are going to, after you've saved this, you are going to click the exit to exit out of this. And you are then going to go and open up Google Chrome. And you're going to find Schoology. Go on in here to your Schoology account. You can go to our class, Keyboarding 8. Go to Chapter 1, Lesson 4. Okay, and you're going to click the Submit Assignment button. Now it tells you which 3 documents you are going to need to turn in. Now, I can't click Submit Assignment, but I am going to show you how you can attach multiple files at one time. So to do that, once you click the Submit Assignment button, you're going to click the File button. It looks something like this. And you are going to then go to your Z drive, find those 3 documents that we made, which are right here. I'm going to hold down the Control key on my keyboard and I'm going to click on each of those 3 documents, or I can click and drag up to highlight all 3 documents at the same time, or press the Control key and click individually on each document. We want 4C space history, 4D applications and apps, and 4F acceptable use policy. You're going to click open and you will see them load, and then you will hit submit. Okay, or in my terms here, I'm going to click save changes. Okay, I'm going to hit cancel in my situation. And that is how you turn all 3 documents into Schoology at the same time. Good luck, and we'll see you later.